Hi, I'm Eric Gurr. Welcome to Intralink Search Engine Television. In today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about the release of search data by AOL. We're not going to talk about the privacy concerns. Rather, we're going to discuss an article by Lee Gomes in the Wall Street Journal Online edition that deals more with the search behavior and what he was able to find out mining through some of this data. We're also going to be talking a little bit about social search today and Google and Apple trying to protect their brand names, in particular using Google as a verb and the Apple term pod. We're going to wrap up the show with our marketing tip of the day, and we're going to discuss our search engine market share predictor chart, what it means to you, and finally we'll give you a quick preview of some of our upcoming shows and topics we're going to be discussing. The biggest news over the last week has been, of course, AOL's release of some private search data. Now, there's been a lot of talk about the privacy concerns of this release, but we found a real nugget in an online article by Lee Gomes of the Wall Street Journal. And what Lee did is took the information, put it in a database, and crunched the numbers a little bit to look more at search behavior and what it tells us about the way people are searching for things on the internet, as opposed to the privacy concerns. And what Mr. Gomes found out is nearly half of searches resulted in no click. Now, this could be attributed either to bad results or irrelevant results, but we think it's more likely tied to poor marketing effort on the part of website marketers. And what we mean by this is the title and the meta description are such critical parts of your marketing campaign. If you stuff those with keywords using over-aggressive SEO tactics, you haven't created any compelling reason for someone to visit your site. Another interesting thing in this article was he found 28% of searches were refined searches of previous searches. This ties nicely into all the latest research showing searches going more to the long tail. Users get better results, and the marketer is able to better target his customer. Very important. Long tail is the wave of the future for search marketers. And in an upcoming episode, we're going to show you a great way to build a long-term search. Quick editorial about this, Lee Gomes. We read dozens of articles every week. And a lot of the pundits and so-called experts will write something, and our research and your research, I know, shows it's just patently untrue. Now, this guy's on the ball. He's right on track, and he's one we all need to keep an eye on. When he talks, he's right. So, good nugget to find when you get a pundit or an expert who really, truly is an expert, meaning he does his work, he does the research, and he writes about what he finds and what's true. Another link we have posted is from abcnews.com, and this deals with social search, in particular Yahoo Answers. Social search in its simplest form is simply a way for users with similar interests to qualify content, be it a website, a video, an image, and there are a lot of tools available right now in Dig, Delicious, Wikipedia, and Yahoo Answers. One of the shortcomings with social search right now is that there's not a whole lot of data available for voting on all these sites. As that data becomes more available, the results will get better. Long term, there's a shortcoming in that like PageRank using inbound links or using user behavior to rank sites, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that sites that are voted on a lot, time is spent on them, move towards the top of the rankings, those are the sites that get seen. So with the long term, a new site comes out or a new piece of content with relevant, better information doesn't get seen because you can't vote on what you do not see. We're going to be talking a little bit more on Monday about some of the new media marketing methods in the search and some of the issues related with that and how that affects the search marketer or the website marketer. The story this week was, of course, Google's letter to a lot of the big media houses trying to prevent them from using Google as a verb, Googling. And in the forums, there was a lot of talk on whether this is a good idea, is a bad idea, and the consensus on most forums is this is a bad thing for Google to be doing. We disagree with that. Google should protect its brand. You don't want to get your image muddied by something that some people don't agree with or frown on. You need to look no further than dogpile.com, which is a great meta crawler, got a great set of tools. A lot of people won't use it because of the name Dogpile. From the start, it was branded really kind of poorly. So Google's trying to protect that, and we applaud that effort and understand exactly where they're going with that. On the other hand, Apple is doing something similar with the term pod. This is a bit puzzling. The term pod's been around a lot longer than the Apple iPod, and hard to see where they're going with this. With the term podcasting becoming more of the lexicon now, you would think they would want to embrace that. Saying Googling as part of the lexicon, I understand that, but it doesn't have to be. It's so tied to Google, where pod is not tied to Apple. Its podcast is tied to the iPod. That's a good thing. So we're just about as bewildered as everybody else on this one. It just doesn't seem to make much sense. No articles, no links on this one. You've all heard the talk before. If something interesting comes out, we'll keep you posted. Or if there's a ruling on it. On the Google side, it may happen. On the Apple side, nothing's going to come of that. Okay, we're going to wrap this up with our marketing tip of the day, and this is a really good one. This is something we discovered in a focus group, and it has to do with pay-per-click sponsored search advertising. What we found was a user looking at organic search results and strictly focusing on organic search results can still have his eye diverted if in the pay-per-click section there is a brand name. So if your website has a product or service that competes with a brand name, and that brand name also uses sponsored search with their brand name in the title, you want to get right underneath them. We found this at a restaurant in Dallas, Texas. It was Macaroni Grill. Now, we were doing search evaluating relevancy on local search, and we kept noticing people's eyes going over just to that listing. And they would look at that one and the one right underneath it. So, good tip, something to tie into if you have that capability, and you're competing with a brand name, you want to get right under their results. It'll help out a lot. The other thing we're going to wrap up with is our market share predictor. You probably, if you've watched the site, you notice Ask.com has moved up and Yahoo's moved down. So we just want to tell you what market share predictor means to you. This is simply from the marketing perspective over the long term. Today, you're not going to short any of your money from your Overture account because Yahoo's still got great market share. But we think over the next 6, 9, maybe even 12 months, as that starts to go down, you might have to pay more attention to Ask because they're getting so aggressive with their advertising and their pay-per-click placement. So this is a long-term indicator. Doesn't change your short-term strategy, changes your long-term strategy. Some upcoming episodes, like we've talked about a little bit Monday, we're going to be talking about new media marketing. Also next week, we're going to specifically talk about some new search engines, and we're going to deal with some search behavior issues. And we also have a great one coming up on how to build a long-tail search. It's coming straight from Intralink's tool set to build a long-tail search. This will really help. We think you'll really like it. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you Monday.